don't like this. Is that my ego talking? Wait.
I wouldn't wanna bleed even my heart, my mind, and my body.
You got this. You got this. I'm real parchy. Okay. Oh my gosh, my mind is like buzzing like a buzz bee. Buzz. Okay. Hi guys, it's your girl Divine Jules, and today we're gonna talk about something that has been the reoccurring theme of this whole week, a little bit of last week, but just now realized this week. Just listen. I don't know why I get so nervous still doing this. Oh my gosh. Okay, as you guys know, you come from Snapchat. I have always been honest on what's going on in my life, how I can relate with certain things that I speak on, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and not too honest that like, you know all my business, but like I'm gonna be honest enough so you can understand. I was dealing with a very big battle of ego versus heart. So a few nights ago, I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, okay? I found something that I wouldn't have found if I wasn't doing the thing that I shouldn't have been doing. And I say go searching and you'll find it. Yeah, so that's what I did. My immediate response to what I found was, I don't even care. Like, I just put up this huge wall of, okay, and I don't care. I literally don't feel anything towards this. It was the biggest lie, and oh my gosh, like, one thing I'm not about is suppressing your feelings, but did I know that could happen subconsciously? Absolutely not, until this day went on. The next day I woke up with a thought, and I was still on this bandwagon of I do not care. Like, it's not affecting me, I'm not gonna let it affect me. It is what it is. Like, I don't care. And this just brought so many emotions of like negative emotions, so many negative emotions, because I didn't want to go ahead and confront what I was feeling, because I wanted to genuinely believe I did not care. But I knew in my heart I cared, but my ego was like, we're not going to care. Why? Because we're not going to allow this to, wait, what am I doing? This is not for good. And I started doing everything to avoid this emotion by looking up podcasts on detachment and just like all these things, all these outside sources, because I did not want to deal with what was within. And nothing was working, and I was getting frustrated, which led to me being annoyed and irritated and irritable and rude to other people who simply did not deserve it. And I know this may sound like a repeat, but just listen, okay? Like, it's not a repeat, because I just learned this information myself. So like, it's not a repeat, because I couldn't tell you if I didn't know. As the day went on, I had to have a conversation with myself and be like, what are you feeling? And initially, I was thinking, I don't care. What do you mean, what am I feeling? I just told you I don't care. And I'm like, what are you really feeling? And the one thing about meditation, and I feel like you could do this anywhere, just center yourself and feel within. I just started immediately crying, and I'm like, I care. And I don't like that I care, but I care. That led to me being able to now feel what I was going through, do coping mechanisms accordingly, and rather than suppressing the emotion, letting all these other things go ahead and fester with that emotion and bringing it in my outward toward people, towards myself, just because I didn't want to face what I was really feeling. So that was the first thing, right? That was the first thing. And then I was having this thought and this feeling of like energy. I wanted to do this thing, but something in me was like, no, you're not about to do that. Like, why would you do that? And every time, like, I'm doing this voice because that is what it sounds like in my head. She is so like, ugh. Like, I don't like her. She's so like, she's not nice. She's so stone cold, and she has a wall built up. I didn't know what this was, and you probably like, you didn't know, like, you had an ego. No, obviously I knew in simplistic terms, like, everyone knows ego. You know, you think of yourself, you're self-centered, and you only worry about yourself and don't care about others. But I didn't know how much deeper this went and how it was affecting my life of 20 years as a 21. That's how you know I lie about my age, because I just said 20. Yeah, 21 years of my life, it's been affecting me. Probably not 21 years of my life, because when you're born, like, you move with love, but then as you grow, you develop ego. Okay, yeah, so like I was saying, I wanted to do this thing, and initially my first thought was, you're not gonna do that. And I wasn't asking myself, why aren't you gonna do that? I was just like, no, you're not gonna do that. Like, you're not about to come off as X, Y, and Z, and no, like, that person deserves this, this, and this. And I hated it. I hated it. It was just like, this energy, these words was not me. It did not feel like me. It was not divine. It was not Aja. It was not me. I had this other voice. Like, and I always say this, okay. So I always tell my best friend, I always explain it as, because I'm born on the 23rd of October, that it's like the cusp, and I say like the Libra and the Scorpio, and I say the Libra is the kind one, and she's so sweet, and she just wants to spread that love, right? But then the Scorpio is so devious and mean and sneaky and all these things that, you know, Scorpio represents, but like, it's not actually true. I didn't know this whole time that this whole battle of mind versus heart, intuition versus ego, whatever you want to call it, was what that was. Or the angel versus devil, whatever you want to say, that's what it is. That's what I was facing. First, the voice was telling me, you're not doing that. And then the other part of me was like, but why not? Like, I want to do that. Like, I just feel like I should do that. And like, it was just, it got so loud. It was like this meaner voice was just becoming the main voice, and it was trying to literally like block out that other voice and make itself more present. It was like taking control of the situation, but I didn't want it taking control of the situation, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and I felt like I was going crazy because I'm like, what is this? And I know people say like, you don't know whether to listen to your heart or your mind. This was different. Literally pacing back and forth thinking, what is going on? Until something told me, lay down. I laid down. Because, I don't know, I'm gonna listen to the nice kind voice that tells me to lay down. And I did as such. And once I laid down, glitch, okay. Yeah, as I laid down, I closed my eyes. Am I planning on going to sleep? No. But do I? I don't even know if it was a sleep. That's the thing. I ended up waking up, and only thing on my mind was ego versus heart. Don't know where it came from. Don't know why, wasn't searching it before, didn't read about it before. That is just what came to mind, and I just searched it, started watching videos on it, people talking about it. First video I watched, kid you not, is literally what was going on with me before I had decided to lay down. Like, this whole big ass battle was that video, and she displayed it so perfectly. And I was like, wait, you're telling me I've been driven by my ego this whole time? The thing about the ego is it does everything to protect you and keep you in a place of, we're not going to do anything that's going to result in hurting us. But in the end, it's not really protecting you, because it's really just hurting you, because it's keeping you in the same place in this negative mindset. It's controlling you because it doesn't want you to grow, it doesn't want you to expand, it doesn't want you to see different point of views and have a clear understanding of things, but rather it wants to keep you in this trapped bubble, trapped in your mind actually, staying complacent with what it wants you to do. That's what's going on. After I went ahead and I looked at through these videos, I felt this surge of energy. I saw my best friend in a video and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got my next video idea. It's like a high, like a rush. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like the greatest high that's actually very, what's the word? That actually benefits you. That's what I'm trying to say. It actually benefits you, and that's what this was. Now I'm thinking of ego as an individual. Then I'm thinking of ego as in relationships, and it's just all spilling out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much. And how am I going to help people who probably don't even know this is what's happening to them, don't know they're being controlled by their ego, same way I had no literal idea. I don't like this. Is that my ego talking? Wait. No, because that's something I've been asking myself. When I feel these moments of self-doubt, I have to question, is that my ego? Because the ego does go ahead and support self-negative talk, self-doubt, to keep you in that one place it wants you to be. It doesn't want you to, and like I said, it doesn't want you to move forward. Your ego does not want you to move forward. It does not want you to see different perspectives, have clear understanding, because it's protecting you. So therefore, when fear arises, it's also in a way protecting you, because it's keeping you from anything that you fear, that you do not know the outcome of. It's going to stop you from doing that. You want to pursue something that you've never done before, YouTube, it's going to get into your head of, you can't do that. Why would you think you could do that? No, we've never done that, so we're not gonna do that. And then the thing that sucks, it's not just within yourself, but it's people on the outside when you start asking others for opinions. And I had tried stopping this, because this is a really bad habit of mine, is asking people for their opinions. I need to understand people have their own self-limitations, have their own knowledge, and that's not saying at all that people are not smart or they're not on my level or whatever. No. But if I allow someone to go ahead and give me advice, and I don't know if they're really coming from a place of open-mindedness versus logical reasoning and thinking, which is what the ego does, is it's logical. It doesn't think outside itself, if that makes sense. Like, for example, if I say I want to quit my job today and I want to go ahead and travel the world, that's going to sound insane to a lot of people. Why? Because that is not normalized. That's not smart. That's not responsible. All these other things that, you know what I'm saying. It's not something that people will support right away, because it's not something you see every day. So therefore, if you tell someone, thinking of quitting my job and traveling the world, I'm gonna say, why would you do that? You have a steady income right now. Traveling the world doesn't guarantee you anything other than seeing some places and some mountains and some oceans and this and that. Why would you leave such a stable living to go do something that you've never done before? And the thing with this is, if you trust these people, when they speak of their fear, it's not going to come off as like, oh, like they have fear within them, like instilled in them, that they're trying to project onto me, and when I like ask for this advice or whatever. No, you're going to go ahead and listen and think, your ego mind is going to be like, oh my gosh, they're right. Why would I decide to do something like that? Where did that even come from? Am I crazy? What? I can't do that. And then all these excuses arise. But really, it was your heart, it was your soul, it was your intuitiveness that brought you upon to this idea. Whether, obviously the traveling is like an example, but whether it's you wanting to pursue something out of the norm, or an idea pops in your head, whatever it is, your ego mind is going to convince you to do otherwise, because it is not aware of the outcome. It is going to be placed in a fear state. And oh, that's another thing, paranoia of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen, will keep you so stuck into this bubble of, no, I don't want to do that, because I seen how that turned out last time. And the thing with your ego is, it is so, I'm not even like getting ready, I'm just talking, oh my gosh. oh, I remember. Your ego, it lives in the past and in the future. Do you ever realize when you, say you achieve something, right? You accomplish a goal. It's not enough for you. I have had these moments so many times where I've accomplished something and I'm so proud of myself, but I don't even take a minute to be proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for like probably 2 seconds, and I'm like, okay, gotta do this now. And we don't even take a second to just cherish that moment, be proud of ourselves, see how far we've come, all the things it took to get here, and just like sit in it for a second. No, we're just always reaching for more. And that is simply going to create us to never be satisfied. We're never going to be fulfilled. Because why? You're never going to reach your goal, because you're always reaching for another goal. And I'm not saying stay, in one place, okay, I did this goal and now I'm done. No, I'm saying just simply appreciate it. That's it. Appreciate it. And don't be so quick to run after the next thing. Like within a millisecond of realizing you just accomplished what you've been like, trying to accomplish for months or years on end, and you just have this mind of like, oh my gosh, now I gotta do this. Like I gotta get here. Like, and you don't even take a second to take a beat to just be like, oh my gosh, wow, I did that. Like I took the steps to get here, and I did that, and I'm here, and I'm so proud of myself. and now I'm going to cherish this moment. Then you can go ahead and start planning for the next thing. But allow yourself to relish. Relish in the achievement. Relish in the being proud of yourself. That was another thing in the beginning, like I was saying, that time where I was having that, heart versus ego. I had to say what I remember, and I feel like what I remember and what comes out is what someone has to hear, versus me going ahead. And if I go ahead and read off of something, I'm just reciting words off of paper. Those aren't my words. That's plagiarism. Although we're not going to get graded and we're not going to get in trouble, still doesn't feel authentic. And that was something that I wanted to say, is when I was thinking of doing this thing in the first place, I realized when it was coming from my ego, it was not genuine, it was not authentic. It was tactic, it was ulterior motive, it was plan in motion, it was all these things, and I had to ask myself, why? Why was this so ego driven at that moment? Like, what led us to that? And I had to think, what did I do in my day? It was raining all day, so I decided to listen to music in the rain because I love to dance in the rain. And as I was dancing in the rain, the music I was listening to was so ego driven, so ego based, that I didn't even realize. Like, for instance, I was listening to Olivia Rodrigo's album. A few of those songs on there is literally to boost your ego and this whole better mentality. But not just her songs. I hate to admit this because you guys know I love her. But oh my gosh, Taylor's songs too were so ego. And I didn't realize that after I listened to all of that stuff, I went ahead and consumed all of that. We're met with all of that. No. After I consumed all of that, the actions that were led were simply based off of that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is when. So I'm listening to this, right? I realized this is because of the music I was listening to, the music I was taking in. Now, I want to get all into frequencies, lyrics, and how they affect us, mentally, psychologically. Big words, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I want to get all into that, but not in this video. When you do something, when you get something instantaneously, right? You get short-term gratification. When you seek things that give you long-term gratification, they take a little bit longer. They aren't going to be as easy to get to, but it is going to give you long-term feeling of satisfaction versus short-term. What's going on, chica? Like on my echo. My brain is thinking of too many things at once. Okay, you guys have all heard it, all right? What we're about to enter. You guys have all heard it. Your comfort zone will, say it with me, you, okay? Yes, it will kill you. Your comfort zone will kill you. And that is the thing with why your ego does not allow you to feel your feelings. It does not allow you to hear the voice trying to, vocalize your feelings, and keeps you in this place of comfortability because it is what it's familiar with. And if it's not something it's familiar with and it's not comfortable with something that may lead you to change, which is going to lead you to make sure I get my words right. To make change, you won't be stuck. Wait, because now I feel like that's a bit contradictive. Hold on, I feel like that's a bit contradicting. Because if the ego, right? So your ego doesn't want you to feel your feelings. It doesn't want you to hear the voice that vocalizes your feelings and acknowledge that, because therefore that will lead to change and that will lead to something that it does not know what's going to happen in. But simply because it does not know means it's going to be something of growth, and your ego doesn't want you to grow. It wants you to stay complacent. It wants you to stay in the same place. It wants you to stay stuck with what it knows, because that's what its way of protecting you, right? But then, okay, I gotta think in the perspective of sometimes your ego can be a motivating force to make changes. But I feel like that's still not leading with heart, so it's still going to lead. I don't know, you have a big ego, you make a big life change with that ego. Like, oh, I'm gonna prove these people wrong. Like, I don't know, because I feel like this falls into intention. Kind of what I spoke on TikTok. Like, when you go ahead and do things and it's simply based off like another person or things that other people have said, like, oh, you can't do that, or oh, why would you ever do that? You sound dumb for even thinking of doing that. All those things, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna prove them wrong. I feel like we shouldn't follow that at all, because of the simple fact that if you're doing something simply to prove someone else wrong, what is going to keep you to continue doing that thing once that intent is gone and you no longer care about what that person says or thinks or has an opinion on? You want to do things because it is going to help you, and you know within yourself you're supposed to be doing this to become the best version of yourself. This is conflicting. Hold on. Because I gotta think. Okay, well, let's circle back to that. Or what are your guys' thoughts on that, I guess, if I keep that in? This is something I always say when change occurs, in someone's life and in my own life, is I always lean more towards this, like, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Whether it's like a heartbreaking like thing or it's a bad thing in other people's eyes, like, I don't know, it could be losing a job, or I don't know, a relationship not being the way that you expected. Whatever it is, right? Whatever this big life change happens, I don't get afraid of it. Don't get me wrong, there's probably a little bit of fear, but the one thing that I do when I like have these thoughts, these negative thoughts, and at first I simply thought they were like very intrusive thoughts, or just, yeah, at first it was intrusive thoughts, but then it would just turn like the more, and I'd always tell people this, the more I meditate, the more connected I start to feel, and the more doubt and the more self-doubt, the more negative self-talk tries to creep in, and every time it tries to creep in and become loud, I get louder. Like my heart voice, or whatever you want to call it, like she becomes louder. If I hear like, why would you want to do that? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Why wouldn't I do that? Like, because I'm going to succeed at it. That's how I'm going to do it. Like, I literally, not that I'm mean to myself, not that I bully myself, but I do everything in my power to minimize that voice, because that voice is not me. That voice is trying to keep me in a place where I'm obviously not happy in, and I want to grow from. So why would I listen to that voice? That voice, the outcome of listening to it is absolutely nothing good for myself. So I do this thing where I do yell at it, or sometimes I visually, like, I picture it. I picture the words in my mind. I don't know if you guys ever seen like Electric Company when you were younger, you had like PBS Kids, you know what I'm talking about. They would have like the, you know, the words, and I would picture that in my head. And as I see these words and I don't like the feeling of them, I would literally shrink them. And then as I'm shrinking them, the positive affirmation is becoming bigger. And I'm repeating that positive affirmation as the other one is shrinking. I hope that makes sense, because that's literally what happens in my head. And it works. So try it out. Now I want us to talk about something we all have, because you guys are watching me on YouTube, so you definitely have social media. We all have social media, whether you have Snapchat, whether you have TikTok, whether you have Instagram. We all have social media, and social media is what? A collection of highlight reels. And yes, obviously we have this grand understanding that that is what it is, but does that stop us from comparing ourselves? Does that stop us from thinking, oh, this person's so much better, this person's so much prettier, oh my gosh, like they're living their dream life, I wish I was? All these thoughts of comparison and jealousy, they arise out of absolutely nowhere, because you're looking at someone's highlight reel, but you're not taking it in as that. You're taking it in as if that's the reality and that's the truth. And if you really take a look at your own Instagram, you probably should think to yourself, what are people thinking when they go on my Instagram? Probably those same exact thoughts. But is everything perfect in your life? And I'm not trying to say try to, you know, give focus to the flaws in your life, but I feel like when it comes to social media, we see this perfect world that someone has control of creating to make it look like their dream life versus what it actually is, and we don't understand. We do the same exact thing, but when we view theirs, it's like a reality, because it's what they're feeding us, so we believe it, and we're like, oh my gosh, like, and we feel so bad for ourselves, and we start comparing ourselves. I need some of my hands. In response to that, you feel, I'm trying my best not to say the word, You feel not good enough. That's the word. That's what it is. So, in return, you're gonna go ahead and do what? You're gonna post something so you can get that external validation back. So you can feel like, oh, what was I thinking? Like, I am good enough. Like, I am better. I am. And it just fills all these thoughts that your ego goes ahead and creates so that you feel better about yourself. But really, you don't realize you were just seeking external validation simply based off comparing yourself and feeling jealousy towards others. So in response, you did the same exact thing rather than asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? What's happening? And am I feeling this way because my heart feels this way, or is my ego feel this way? Feel this way? No. Okay, yeah. Another thing I want to go ahead and bring up is on social media, we see the accomplishments that our peers are making, and I feel like with those accomplishments, you are in the safety of your home or wherever you're watching this, right? So simply admit this if it's true. You see someone, I don't know, got their degree, or they moved out the country, or whatever it is, right? They seem like they're ahead in a sense compared to you, okay? When you feel like someone is ahead and you're behind, you are not coming to clear understanding that no one, and listen when I say this, no one is ahead or behind, because everyone is on their own journey, and things are going to happen for them when it's supposed to happen for them, and things are going to happen for you when it's supposed to happen for you. You can achieve the same thing when you're 40 and they achieved it when they were 17. Do not compare. They are on their own journey. You are on your own journey. At the end of the day, the only time you should compare is when you are comparing yourself to last year to now, yesterday to today. That is when you should compare. Compare yourself to the past to now, and be proud of that, because you've come so far. And you tend to compare yourself to people that you don't know the story of, you don't know the trials and tribulations they went through, you don't know what it took to get there, but you're comparing yourself. You're like, oh my gosh, you're so ahead. Like, I feel so behind. I should be. And I feel like we're gonna touch on this subject again October 23rd because I feel like this is a reoccurring thought that comes around people's birthday. But it's true. It's true. You have to understand that everyone is on their own journey, and when you come to this realization, you are going to realize that there is room for all of us to get to where we want to go and to achieve great things and accomplish the things that we want to accomplish and reach our dreams or whatever it is. There is room for all of us. So do not judge people, help others. Do not go ahead and compare yourself. Understand that they're on their own journey and be happy for them. Learn to be happy for others. Stop letting envy, allowing envy enter your mind and take control of the way that you think. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, stop doing that, because there's no reason for it. And that's what social media is based off, is for us to feel this way and for us to continuously use it so that we can get this validation, so we can feel a sense of self-worth through something that, what did I say earlier? If I didn't clip it out, is short-term gratification. Short-term gratification. But when you work on yourself, when you, like I said, and I will continuously say this, because until you guys shove it into your mouth, okay, and you eat it and you take it and you consume it, apply it. When you start journaling, when you start reflecting on your actions. Oh, I was listening to Jay Shetty and his views on he has to say about ego versus heart, his was ego versus self-esteem, but it's all in the same realm. He said that he would keep a tally chart, like a point system, for when his ego would take front seat and when he would move with love or with self-esteem or with intuition, and he would jot it down, and at the end of the day he would see which one won. After he got to be able to reflect on that, he started to realize that he needed to move more with love, move more with his intuition, trust himself more, and not let ego take front seat and let those excuses and those questions and those doubting yourselves control you. So we spoke on social media and the way that that has a way of feeding the ego and how that's short-term gratification. But like I was saying, oh yeah, that's what I was saying, I'm sorry. When it comes to doing the journaling, the reflecting, the shadow work, there's a word I'm looking for. Oh, that's what it is. When you're triggered by something, okay? Now this relates to anything in life, relationship, friendship, just in general, right? When you get triggered and you don't react instantly and you take a minute to step back, that means mentally as well, to give yourself space, allow yourself to think, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel triggered? Is this stemmed from trauma? Is this stemmed from childhood? And dealing with that. Dealing with it. When you see that you are triggered by something, do not react right away. Allow yourself to take a step back, really think, and ask yourself, why am I triggered? When you do all these things, it is going to lead to that internal validation. Going to have that self-love within yourself, that you are not going to seek for it on the outside. You're not going to look for external validation from others, from people who don't even know you, from other sources, because you're going to have it within you because you did the work. And like I said, that is long-term gratification, but it's going to take time to get there. It's much easier, okay? It's much easier, I understand, to post something and get told all these things that are gonna build you up. But is it building you up, or is it building your ego up? Is it really going to help you in the long run? Is it really helping you reach a higher level of thinking? Or is it just going ahead and keeping you happy and comfortable and like, everyone thinks I'm awesome, they think I'm so pretty, oh my gosh, why was I ever like jealous of me? Like, I can't believe that, like, I'm so much better. Yeah. Apply more things in your life that are going to bring you long-term gratification. Working out, meditating, journaling, reflecting, shadow work. I got a list somewhere. You guys really want to get into it, I will. Short-term gratification, partying, drugs, unhealthy eating. It doesn't even have to be something like that realm of things. It could just be as simple as unhealthy eating. It feels so good and I'm like, oh my gosh, this chocolate cake is hitting. But it's not helping you in the end. You're gonna end up feeling pretty shitty after, actually. But when you eat healthy, you feel good. You actually feel good because it's good for you. And it's not gonna make you sleepy or make you feel like, oh. But I feel like when you eat healthy, it does, you feel like, you know, like I'm on the go, like, okay, like I feel good, like I can go on with my day, not I want to take a nap because I just took in something that my body does not want, but it just tastes so good, I have to have it. Now doesn't mean don't ever eat junk food or anything, no, but implementing things that are going to give you long-term gratification is going to help you in the long run. You're going to thank yourself later on for simply having that sense of discipline, commitment, and dedication for the betterment of yourself. Also, when it comes to you going ahead and reacting instantly because you're triggered of something, take that time to ask yourself these questions that I said before. It allows you to come at the situation or come to the person with a clear, level-headed way of thinking. You'll be able to communicate effectively with that, and your words will not come out so like and it'll come out like that person will not on the other end feel attacked, but rather they'll feel like, oh, because they're listening, because they're taking in what you're saying, because you're not coming at them, you're not attacking them, because at the end of the day, nobody, okay, nobody is going to know what's going to trigger you, and that is the truth. If you feel triggered, nobody can read your mind when you are triggered. So if they trigger you and they don't know it and you instantly jump at them, you see how scary that was? Yeah, you instantly jump at them. Their instant reaction is going to be to do the same exact thing back. Because why are you attacking me? Okay, if I'm under attack, I want to attack back. If you come to someone and you think about it beforehand, you come to them and you speak effectively, communicate thoroughly with your words, they're going to reciprocate that same exact energy back. They're going to communicate effectively, have a level head with you, listen to you, apply the words, simply understand where you're coming from, and then so on and so forth. You know what I mean? I want to say that's it. But I don't know if that's it. I don't know if that's it. In doing that also, that lessens the amount of drama and conflict and toxicity that is in your life, because you are not behaving in ways to create those things. Oh, okay, well, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. Take what I said, okay? Apply it. Ask yourself, am I displaying these? Am I moving with my ego? Admit it. You know, like, there's no problem in admitting I am moving with my ego. I do have pride of. I am protecting myself, aka letting my ego take control. I am scared, so therefore I allow my ego to go ahead and convince me not to do such and such due to that. Be honest with yourself. You're watching. Why does it keep going back? Want to reach that new level. Because you want to reach that new version of yourself. You want to become that new version of yourself. You are open to learning. So therefore, apply these things. Be honest with yourself. And do not feel ashamed if you have been moving with your ego. Learn from it. Just don't continue doing so. Become aware of these things now. So therefore, they will not be the driver in the future. That's all. That's why you're watching this. That's why you're watching this right now. You had to hear this. This was for you, okay? This is for all of you that are watching, and I genuinely believe that, because I told you guys in the beginning, like, I had no idea of this. I didn't. And I was moving with my ego for so long, and now I feel like I have become super aware now of things I'm watching, things I'm listening to, and there's another video. That's another video. I'm not getting into that right now. But the point is, just simply apply these things that I said. See if, you're like, oh my gosh, I do that. If you notice and I said something and you're like, I do that. Simply being honest with yourself, being aware of when it is occurring, and taking the steps that I said before to not do them and to move with your heart, because you're moving with your ego. Operate from your heart. You will get way better results, I promise you. Operate from your ego. You're going to stay complacent. You're not going to be happy. There is not going to be satisfaction long term. I'm telling you that right now. Move with your heart. Operate from your heart, your intuition. Trust yourself. Believe yourself. Because at the end of the day, our intuition is like the highest version of ourselves, right? And understand that if you have a feeling, an intuitive feeling, it is for you to listen to that. Listen to that urge. Do not let outside sources, do not let yourself, your ego, psych you out of doing what you want to do, pursue what you want to do. I don't care how crazy it sounds. If you know that this is going to be for your good and you can't explain it, you don't have to explain it, because you can feel it. And if you can feel it, it's for you, go after it. That is what the point of this video is. Listen to your heart, move with your heart, move intuitively, because it is only going to allow you to reach new levels and versions of yourselves that you could not even fathom before, because your ego was taking control this whole time. Do not allow it to continue taking control. I'm telling you right now, that bitch is a bitch. Okay? I love you guys. Divine Jewel signing out, logging off. I don't really know what the outro is going to be, but I was told that there's going to be a riot if I didn't do such. So, bye guys.